Hey everybody, are you in the Christmas spirit yet? Are you in the Christmas spirit yet? Just staying up late, eating cookies, tiny little hot chocolates. Let me tell you something sad. Let me tell you something really, really sad. Christmas is going to be over. That means the Christmas tree costume's gotta come off, the Christmas tree goes away, the presents are gonna be all gone. It's gonna be over. Yep, that's it, it's over, we're done. Go ahead. Merry Christmas. You're sad now too. I know you are. No! I made it Christmassy again. Well, you know that feeling. Isn't it so sad when you just start taking down all the Christmas decorations? It was like you worked so hard to decorate and wrap your gifts, and then somebody's like tearing through them, unwrapping your beautifully packaged gifts, and just like that, Christmas is over. School starts again, but that one neighbor always keeps their lights like blinking until February. You're like, we get it, you timed your lights, they look great. It's now May and it's hot outside. Take the lights down. It's sad, right? Here's my point of being so dramatic with the packing away of things. Sometimes it feels like the Christmas spirit gets packed away with everything else when the holiday season ends. And you know what else gets packed away with our Christmas decorations? Our spirit of generosity and giving. See, so much about Christmas season is about like giving. We give gifts to people we love, we take time to serve those in need, or we just show up to church more often. Maybe we spend time with families when we're home from school or over break. We give our money or our possessions to families or charities that need it for Christmas. Here you go. But like, think about it. What's the most awesome gift you're giving to someone this Christmas? It doesn't have to be like the most expensive gift. Maybe it's just something you thought was particularly thoughtful, something that you know will mean a lot to the person who receives it, something you know they'll love. You probably felt amazing when you bought it or made it, right? I actually got a homemade gift from my sister that was so good. But even thinking about giving that gift to that person fills you with joy and excitement. That's how generosity can make us feel. And while that feeling isn't the only reason to give, it really does feel good to do something nice for somebody else you care about, doesn't it? But then what happens? You give them the gift and they love it. Everybody feels awesome, right? And then that moment is gone. Just like that, all those good feelings of generosity start to like fade away. Why is it that something that seems so good is so temporary? I mean, wouldn't it be great if that feeling that we get from giving during Christmas could last like more than just a season? Wouldn't it be great if we could experience the joy of generosity all year long? To give other people that joy as we give, I'm sure that you'll agree that being generous all year long sounds great, but it's like not that easy of a thing to do. So how do we do it? How do we continue to be generous when the Christmas season ends? Well, I think the Bible can give us some guidance when it comes to generosity. You know I was gonna say that though, you already knew. Whether you've grown up in church or you're new to this whole faith thing, you may be familiar with some parts of the Christmas story. There's Mary, and there's Joseph, and there's a star, and there's frankincense, incense, myrrh. Frankincense, incense, myrrh. That's the myrrh. The Christmas stories that we have in the Bible were written by two of Jesus' followers named Matthew and Luke. And in their stories, both men gave us the details surrounding Jesus' birth. They tell of the story of Mary, Joseph, the angel, and a baby born and placed in a manger. You've probably heard that before, right? Today, I wanna look at what another one of Jesus' followers, a guy named John, wrote about the Christmas story. John didn't give the details that Matthew and Luke did. Instead, he focused on the story behind the story, like basically on what it all really meant. He started by telling us what Jesus brought with him when God sent him to earth that first Christmas. In him was life, and that life was the light of all mankind. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. The gift of Jesus demonstrates God's amazing generosity to us. And Jesus is massively generous to us by turning on the light. It's his light that he brought to the world to share with all of us. You know, like a light, like you know, like a table lamp. Now, I realize that talking about a person as a light might seem like a little bit confusing. So let's unwrap that a bit. Think about the different things that light provides us. It can brighten up a dark space, allow us to see things clearly, or even like warms you up in cold spaces. When you're in a dark or cold place, what happens when the light comes on? The room is filled with warmth and comfort and light, right? Light changes everything. It reveals truth, showing us how things really are. It provides warmth, it gives us direction, helping us like see which way to go. And of course, shining a light gets rid of the darkness in a space. Since Jesus is the light of the world, that means that he does all these same things for us. He brings all of these fantastic realities into the world and into our lives. Jesus, being continually generous, wants to bring comfort, hope, and love into our lives. He wants to help us see things clearly and give us direction. And what's even better than that is that his light can't be put out by anything. It's more powerful than anything we might encounter. Pretty cool, right? See, Jesus' light isn't something we only experience at Christmas. It isn't something that only comes with remembering the gift of its birth. It isn't something that only comes out when the tree's out. Jesus' light is available to us all year long. So how do I know? Take a look at another passage in John. From his abundance, we have all received one gracious blessing after another. Jesus has so much for us. And abundance, basically that means like a whole lot of light and grace and love that he gives us with an endless supply of blessings. He's the gift that actually keeps on giving. His generosity is given to us all year long. But I know you, well, I kind of know you, but I definitely know me. And between us, I feel like we don't always reflect on Jesus' spirit of giving in our own lives. For me, it's really easy to give during the Christmas season, but not always. And here's what I mean. Normally, we give the most during the holiday season. We're talking like a maximum of like 2 months. How many days in a year? 250. False. November and December. I get it. During those months, we feel warm and fuzzy. The spirit of giving is out in full force around Christmas. But it's only about like 60 days out of the year. So what about like the rest of the days, that remaining 300 or so days? That's like a long time, and it's the majority of our year. So like what, like do we just forget about those days? Like all these days? Do we just say like, hey, I've done what I was supposed to. I gave a lot during November and December. I check it off the calendar, so we're all good. Well, here's the thing. Jesus' generosity is given to us all year long. And our generosity towards others can work that same way. The happy feeling we get from being generous with our time or possessions isn't a feeling just reserved for Christmas. You know, just in like December and November. It's something that we can have all the time when we follow Jesus' example. And by all the time, I mean every month of the year. See, generosity should happen like all year long. But getting wrapped up presents like we do at Christmas isn't the only way to live this out. Instead, we can be generous with others when we, just like Jesus, bring light into the world. Being generous all year long means continually making choices and behaving in a way that brings light to others. So you're telling me, great, light, I got it, giving all year round, got it. What does that actually look like? Well, think about it for you. Maybe that's like offering a kind word to somebody who you know needs it. Maybe it's sharing your clothes with your sister more often. Maybe it's offering that new kid a seat at your lunch table. Maybe it's serving in your community with your small group. Things like that, both big and small, shine a little bit of light on the people who receive them. But here's a helpful thing to remember about all this generosity stuff. Being generous doesn't always come easily. You already know this. It can take practice. In other words, if you want to develop a part of your character so that it becomes a regular thing in your life, you have to practice it. You have to play the piano a lot to get good at it. I know that because I only learned like one song during Christmas, and I would just play that song over and over again. Oh, Christmas tree, oh. They're like, wow, you're getting really good at that. Really good at that. Maybe learn a new song. Or maybe you don't play piano, but you know you have to shoot a lot of hoops in order for you to become a successful basketball player. Or you have to solve harder and harder math problems to become a brilliant mathlete. Working out the mind. Now, in the same way, you can become more generous in your life all the time just by practicing. Start this Christmas by doing something intentionally generous. This December, do something generous. Then next week, do it again. Tomorrow, do something generous again. Keep it going into the new, okay, that's the wrong way. Into January, and then February. Just keep going with it. Just keep going. Imagine if you could continue that spirit of generosity throughout the whole year. Maybe it's in your town or your school or with your friends or family members. But commit to doing just one generous thing a month, a week, or even a day. Whatever that looks like for you, commit to starting somewhere. Then make a plan to continue all year round. Make it a habit. And when you do, you're gonna shine God's light on those around you, not just in the Christmas season, but throughout the whole year. Remember, generosity should happen all year long. So as you head out, I want you to think about this question, just this question. What's one thing I can do all year long that shows generosity to others? See ya.